Alright, so the point of this video today is for the vast majority of H3 owners that either daily drive their H3 or just do mild off-roading or still like to do towing and other things with it. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about up here is torsion bar keys. Now, most people online are going to tell you, oh, just crank your torsion bars. It's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea because the only thing you're doing is preloading your torsion bar, which is a spring. Now, it's not like a springy spring, it's a twist spring. And that is the reason why you buy torsion bar keys. Now, most of them are junk. The one company I would say is the exception is Suspension Max, because you have an actual cammed gear. And the cammed gear is what actually goes on your torsion bar. And what that allows you to do is basically have zero preload on your torsion bar when you go to level your H3. Because when this is on your torsion bar, it's staying in the same spot. This allows you to re-index wherever you want that. So you can either move the height of the front end up a little bit, or you can even lower it if you want with these. Now, another great thing about these is they actually come with the aluminum spacers to actually drop your differential a little bit, to keep your CV axles in a nice straight line instead of at some weird angle that you're going to wear them out faster. And they even send you spacers so you can drop down your factory skid plates if you want to run them. And the whole reason for the torsion bar keys, though, is, like I said, this is a ride quality. This is not a lift kit. This is not to ever be confused with a lift kit, because that is not what it's for. This is strictly for when you want to go to level out the front of your H3. You don't have a pogo stick ride, because if you just crank your torsion bars, all you're going to do is put a bunch of preload on that torsion bar spring, and it's going to feel like a pogo stick everywhere you go. It's going to be a miserable ride, and you're never going to want to drive anywhere in your H3. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the shocks, or your dampers. Now, the big difference between 4600s, 5100s, and Fox factory ones is your shock valving. Now, for most people, what you're going to want is probably a 4600. And that's because when you're daily driving, the valving on this shock is slower than the other two. And that's going to give you a better ride when you're going down the road, or when you go to do things in your Hummer, if you got to drive long distances on the road to get there. Because the other ones, say if you hit a pothole, the 5100s or the Fox factory ones, because the valving allows that shock or damper to act a lot faster, you hit that pothole, your tire is going to drop down into that hole a lot quicker. Also, if you drive over something in the road, it's going to also allow your suspension to cycle up a lot faster too. So you're going to get a lot harsher ride just daily driving. Whereas this is slower, so when you hit that pothole, it's going to take a little bit longer for it to drop down. And then when it's coming out of the pothole, or if you just drive over something that's on the road, your suspension's not going to cycle up as fast. And it's just going to give you a smoother ride. Now, these are upgrade over OEs, because these are made to handle weight a little better than your factory ones. Now, the other big difference that's not really explained a lot between the 4600s and the 5100s is the front shocks. Between the 46 and the 51s, the 51s are taller. So when they're compressed down all the way, it's a taller shock or damper. Now, some of these kits like Suspension Max, that's not a big deal when you want to go with these shocks, because they actually give you little spacers that fit above the shock, so that when you use that kit, you're not going to bottom out your shock and destroy it. It gives you the correct length that you need. Now, another big thing to talk about, differential bushings. There's no really good option out there for those, because as far as the actual ones that mount the differential to the frame, I haven't found anybody that makes a rubber bushing for it. So your two options are either the guy in Nevada, you see him online, he goes by Badland. He's figured out some polyurethane ones, and for me, they're not ideal, but they're the best option. So polyurethane, if you've never messed with it, is like a really, really, really hard rubber. I mean, there is some give and flex to it, but not a lot. So what that's going to do when you're driving around, all that noise and vibration is going to come up through the vehicle, and you're going to feel it with poly. Now, the other company that does it, or guys, whatever, they're called like Off-Road Outfitters or something like that. And for most normal people, that's not going to be the option you want. Not a knock or dig against them, but their bushings that they make are made out of Delrin, which is basically a super hard plastic. Delrin has like zero give, so that's like solid mounting your differential, and you're definitely gonna feel any road vibration or anything like that coming up into where you're sitting at. Now, one nice thing both of them definitely do though is they give you a cross member bushing, and I'm sure, like most people, I've already replaced my rubber one several times, and I don't even do anything crazy. I do mild off-roading and mostly highway driving, and they give you a poly one. Still kind of stinks because you're getting all that stuff in your vibration and all that. But I mean, if you go with a rubber one, like I've replaced several times, I mean, your options are going on Amazon or eBay and buying some whatever Chinese rubber, and it doesn't seem to be holding up. Also, as far as like poly goes, because the steering rack is the same way. Not a lot of amazing or great options out there, but your best option, if you're just trying to do like a OE plus, is there's a company called Super Pro. They make a whole kit for your steering rack, which is poly bushings, and I say that's your best one if you're going for OE plus, because everybody else that seems to want to make them aftermarket they're all solid mounting, either pieces of billet aluminum or something of that nature, and you're just going to feel everything in the steering wheel when you solid mount that sucker to your H3. Hopefully that clears up some misinformation out there for people, and also hopefully it clears up a lot of this bad info that a lot of people just keep parroting out there and don't really know what they talk about. They're just, well, I saw somebody say this, so they just, well, that's what you do. But That's the real deal of a lot of this stuff with the suspension on the H3. Like I said, hopefully that helps a bunch of you guys out.